Welcome, I'm Bastet. I'll be running your operation. The project's official name is the Adventurers' Research of Abnormal Civilian Experiences, or Project Aromantic for short, to investigate the unusual occurrences that have been happening everywhere recently. I've hired you all for your hands-on experiences.
I'm going to be honest, I think we should run.
I don't know, I'm not a wizard in real life.
Tentacles belong in the ocean!
I also lost all my food, so Delphi, in a few hours you might start looking really delicious.
Okay. You can't just kind of hand wave and say, oh yes, it's clearly from another plane of reality, without that implying a lot about a very powerful wizard doing it, or a university of powerful wizards doing it, or a god doing it.
It lets us know that when these other anomalies have been happening, it's potentially due to the use of temporal or spatial magic.
Who are you? I saw you in some kind of dream, but I think there's more to it than that. We need to talk.
I can't tell you exactly why I did all the things I did, but I did them. Okay?
Can everyone please roll for initiative?
Oh, I nearly cussed so hard.
You are sat outside Bastet's office. You've probably only been waiting 2 or 3 minutes when the door softly opens and Bastet sort of peers around and says, Raina, yes, you're first. Come in.
Oh, hello. Yes. And Raina walks in tentatively and she has her flute, in her hands. Looking quite nervous.
Bastet eyes the flute, but says nothing. Take a seat.
Oh, you want me to play sitting down? That's fine, I could do that. I didn't know what kind of music you wanted, so I just, play some of my favourite songs.
Raina, I'm sorry, I'm not following.
You said it was a performance review. So I'll do a performance for you?
Right.
And she raises the flute to her lips.
No. Huh? There's no need for that. It's not that kind of performance. It's about your performance with the company, with Project Aromantic as a whole.
Oh.
Your part in the team, bit of sort of self-reflection, feedback, an opportunity for us to connect and to talk about what's gone well so far.
Oh.
Do you not have these on board ships?
No. I mean, well, you don't do a good job or you don't. It's pretty obvious. It's okay. Sorry. And she kind of gingerly sits down and then realizes she doesn't have anywhere to put the flute and just kind of awkwardly puts it in her lap.
Right, yes. No playing required, but okay. Thank you for bringing it.
To be honest, I'm pretty relieved to hear that because, it was a bit nerve-wracking. Actually,
you
do
are
performance.
a bard.
Yeah,
Raina. This is somewhat surprising that you are reluctant to play the flute.
Oh, I'm not reluctant to play the flute. I just don't normally play in front of people.
Well, anyway, to business. Like I say, this is an informal process, no performance required. It's just a chat, a conversation between the two of us.
Right.
I just wanted to know, well, yes, let's start with the positives. What do you think's gone well so far?
Well, I guess we did solve a mystery. We solved the murder. and they got put in given to the authorities. So that's a thing that's gone well.
Yes, the apprehension of the Churins was a masterstroke. Well done.
Yes.
Do you feel about anything in particular that you've done that you're quite proud of that you'd like to share?
I don't know. I mean, I can barely remember most of the things I've done because we just kind of, the total normal kind of remembering, not the weird. It doesn't matter. Like you just do stuff, right? I mean, part of the team. That's what you said. So there's nothing sort of individually. I did stop a basilisk in his tracks. That was pretty good.
Oh, really? I don't think you've told me about that.
I guess I could say that. That's a pretty good thing, right?
Basilisk. Was this in the castles?
Yes.
I do remember. Well, brilliant. I'm glad to hear that. So you're settling in well with the team then. That's a positive as well?
Yeah. Let's go with that.
You would disagree?
No. I think it's a very good team.
You seem unsure.
I like them a lot. Well, I think there's more to a team than just liking each other, you know?
Of course.
And don't mean we can't work together, but I think we all have very different viewpoints on life. Can be a little difficult to navigate.
Well, that sort of brings me on to my next point, which was going to be, what do you think has gone less well and why?
Oh boy. Well, there is Delphi did hurt someone. She didn't mean to. That went pretty bad. And
right.
We
hurt someone.
Well, I think this was in the bit that I wasn't supposed to tell you. But yes, Delphi hurt someone by showing her weird warlock crystal thing to them. And that sort of thing doesn't seem to be very good at keeping people well.
Raina, it's important that you share this kind of information with me and don't keep it from me. I presume that you're trying to protect Delphi, but if she's doing harm to civilians, then we need to hear about it.
Oh, she didn't do nothing. I maybe phrased it a little bit wrong. She gave a crystal to someone and then the crystal did something, so I'm a bit concerned about whatever the hell's going on there.
I see.
Or her glaive. She said they were the same thing, and to be honest, I don't really understand, but that's, par for the course, so I just kind of accept it and move on.
Do you think it's worth investigating Delphi's crystal? Maybe, is it perhaps too powerful a weapon to be in her hands?
I don't know that I'd put it like that.
Well, how would you put it?
I don't think it's that Delphi can't handle it. I think it's that Delphi doesn't know how to handle it. Because she doesn't know what it is or what it's doing.
Right. So you would say that Delphi doesn't know the extent of her powers?
Yes.
And would you say that negatively affects the group?
Sometimes.
Interesting.
Why do I get the feeling that I've done something wrong?
I won't say that... This is your first performance review, so you don't necessarily know how these work, but there's supposed to be an opportunity for self-reflection, an opportunity to learn from previous mistakes, and I'm surprised that in all of the conversation thus far, you haven't brought up what happened in Adovan Lovers.
Well, I talked about the murders.
Other than the murders, Raina.
What, like the weird body in the closet?
I know you got arrested, Raina. That's something that doesn't just slip through the cracks.
I didn't mean to be.
I'm aware. I read the file. And luckily, we didn't have to intervene for some reason which remains a mystery to me. But we can't have the extension of a government body, if you will, going around and having run-ins with the law repeatedly. It doesn't look good. Do you understand?
Of course.
So, I suppose what I'm getting at is that you seem to think that Delphi doesn't fully know the extent of her powers, but I'm rather more concerned with you. I think you're a bit of a liability, Raina.
I've never been called that before.
No, that doesn't surprise me. In your reference, Captain Sterling referred to you as honest and hard-working and reliable. And you've demonstrated that you are all of those things. You're very, very capable. You're an excellent asset to the team. But you got arrested. You seem to not have a full grasp on your powers, and I'm not sure that your motives are always driven by what is best for the group rather than your own personal agenda.
What makes you say that?
It seems you have an emotional stake in this, and whilst I don't disapprove of that, I need to know that you will put the well-being of your party members and the well-being of Project Arrowace before whatever personal stake you might have in this time mystery.
I've done nothing this entire time than try and keep this team safe.
No, and I appreciate that.
Well, everything else you said is completely fair, but I take exception to that one. They don't really normally listen to me, but don't mean I don't try. And you got to respect people's decisions most of the time.
Well, I'm glad to hear that. I just want to know, in regards to the potential untapped abilities that you may possess, what you're going to do to ensure that no harm does come to the party.
Well, same as always, you know, just give what warnings you can, help people out where you can. You know, it's all anyone can do. Well, I can't do anything about things I don't understand.
No, but
other than try and understand them.
yes, I was going to say, I think any other approach would be a bit cavalier. I think finding out the root of what got you landed in jail, the fact that you don't really know where your powers come from, I think finding out the root of those things would make me feel a lot more comfortable about your role within the team.
Yeah. I think they would too.
Is there anything else you want to discuss with me?
Well, this feels kind of bad to bring up right now because I already feel like being told off a little bit, but I wanted to say that I was really sorry for breaking your raven. Like, it was probably quite expensive.
It was, but casualties of technology in the field are easier to justify than, well, full-blown casualties in the case of Delphi. And also, like I say, arrests. Just tread carefully, Raina, okay? I'm I am in your corner as much as it might not sound like it. I'm keen to keep you on the team, so I'm just trying to eliminate any possible problems before they arise.
Yeah. No, I get that. You sure I didn't want a song?
No, Raina, I think that'll be all. Okay, so you're sat outside Bastet's office, and you've been sat there for a few minutes, and then after a few minutes, the door opens softly, and Bastet sort of pops her head around the door and says, "Ah, Morgan, do come in.
Hello, good afternoon.
Please, take a seat."
Do they have any seats without, do they have any stools, or are they all high back chairs?
It's high back chairs.
No, she kind of perched right on the edge of it, because otherwise the wings are in the way of the chair.
Bastet, very politely and in the most British way possible, ignores your suffering.
Lovely.
So, Morgan, I'm so glad you could sit down with me today. Just to check, you're aware of what a performance review entails?
In theory, yes.
In theory?
Well, we do things a little bit differently at the university, but I'm sure that everything is fine.
Okay, she relaxes a little bit. Just so we're relatively on the same page, it's just going to be an informal chat about your experiences with Project Arroway so far. I'll just ask you a couple of questions and we'll see that we're both on the same page.
Sure, of course.
Let's start with the basics. How are you feeling about the job currently, about everything that's gone on so far?
Well, I've definitely found it very interesting, illuminating, one might say. I've enjoyed that I have not died, and have only mildly, maybe, risked dying a few times. That was good. I like my co-workers. Dare I say they are my friends.
That's good.
And I feel like I've been fairly badass, so I think it's going all right.
Right, okay. Well, I mean, would you like to elaborate on that? What do you think you've done particularly well?
All of it? My party hasn't died, and that's the job of the wizard, is to make sure they don't die doing silly things like jumping out of a boat to fight a shark monster with a sword when the shark monster is extremely big.
Was that Tohsya?
That was actually Delphi. And Tohsya,
Lord.
but Delphi is the one who nearly died doing it. And then I swooped in like a big damn hero and stopped everyone from dying to the shark monsters, which I think was very cool of me.
I'm very glad to hear that you're taking the safety of your party very seriously.
I think I take it more seriously than they do. Their safety. I obviously take my safety more seriously than they take my safety, but
Well, it's good to hear that there's someone on the ground who's concerned about party welfare. That's quite important.
I'm not usually on the ground, but that was a joke. You can laugh. Anyway.
That's a very good example. Is there anything that you feel has gone less well?
I don't think that the things that we've been doing as part of the job have been going badly. I think that we've been achieving the things we set out to do. I suppose I am slightly leery about being away from the lab-focused side of things more. I suppose I am a working scientist wizard, as you know, and obviously doing field work is excellent, but it is not meaning that I am. I mean, obviously, I'm not technically employed at the university at the moment, but it's not quite fitting in exactly the same with my career goals as I had previously had them. But that's good too. When I get back to the papers and the experiments, I'm sure I'm going to have very interesting new things to work on because of the things I've observed. It's just. It's fine. I just think my H index is suffering a little bit, but it's all.
You were aware when you took the position that it's.
Oh yes, I know. That's why I'm saying it's no problem with the job. It's like I very much enjoyed doing something a bit different.
You're concerned about your professional development in that case.
In the longer term, I suppose so. But I'm not sure what the plans are longer term, because hopefully in the shorter or medium term we'll be able to resolve some of the issues.
Yes, that is true. With any luck, Project Arroways will be a short one.
Hopefully you won't need to employ me soon, but well, hopefully for the world.
Yes, you say that, but you know, there's. We in Attis Orbis and around the variety of cities that are contributing financially to Project Arroways, well, we're always on the lookout for specialists, people who we can work with to investigate things. If lab research is more your specialism and your interest, then maybe a university might be a slightly better place for you. But if you are interested in other opportunities, I'm sure that there's ways we can support you in that.
That might be potentially, yes, good to try and line things up a bit more between, if there's things that I can do aside from being out in the field that are contributing, that would be good. As I said, I'm short, medium term. This is great. Just we had a bit of downtime, that sort of thing, where it would be good to have some lab access, perhaps. I don't know.
I think it's good that you're thinking of things in the long term. I think that's very smart. It's very business-minded of you. I've got a lot of respect for that.
Sure. If you say so. Got to plan ahead?
Absolutely. In that case, there may be some current actions that you'll be able to take that could potentially bolster your employment chances in the future.
That sounds excellent.
Bastet takes a key from a sort of ring of keys and reaches into a locked drawer in her desk, which she opens up, and she takes out a quite thick envelope that is sealed with a sort of a royal looking crest, and slides the paper across to you.
I take it, and I assume my eyebrows go up slightly as I see the seal and read whatever is written on the envelope.
Just for your perusal in your own time.
Thank you. I would be... yes, hopefully that'll be something that will be mutually beneficial. I'm not sure how I can react when I haven't read it, but I'll read it later. Thank you very much.
I couldn't possibly comment on it.
All right.
Just by the by, in terms of thinking about things from the perspective of, well, Aroace is a collaboration with a number of cities, and well, after your run-in with the Churans, I had
yes.
I had some less than pleased messages from the Antebra branch. It appears that, well, your relatives had some stocks in the Churan brothers' company.
Of course they did.
Yes, quite. So they how to be delicate about this? Well, they did express some concerns about you being on the team. They don't hold that much sway over the situation because, as I'm sure you're aware, they're relatively small fish, and Antebra itself is in no position to be throwing its weight around in comparison to Atasorbus and Navrosh in particular. But I just thought I'd let you know that there's maybe some ill favour.
God, I bet it was Ethel. Ethel's my sister.
I'm not at liberty to comment on.
Okay, sure.
I'm sorry.
Okay. Well, they can't have lost too much money because they no longer had that much to start with.
Is there anything else that you'd like to talk to me about? Anything you'd like to ask me or discuss?
I am, I suppose, interested about the future of the organisation. Well, I suppose it's just until we get the situation sorted out, isn't it? Until weirdness stops happening.
Quite.
Which could be for quite a long time, actually. Depends how you define weirdness.
The feeling at the moment is that, well, it rather depends on which cities are invested in it. There are some, such as Antebra, for example, who, as soon as the weirdness, as you put it, well, as soon as that's sort of out of the way, they're unlikely to want to continue funding this. But there are some voices in Atasorbus and Gaimarus and Navrosh in particular who are interested in, like I said earlier, the potential of having some government-funded specialists working alongside us to ensure that the balance of things remains as it should. I'm sure that if you sort out the current predicament that we're all in, there will be potential opportunities for work here in Atasorbus or elsewhere.
Oh, yes, of course.
We've put a lot of funding into this. It seems a shame to simply shut everything down as soon as...
We've got this nice office.
I'll keep the office.
Yes. Do you have any performance feedback from me?
Well, to be honest, I don't get to see a lot of what you do in the field. I'm impressed with the work of the party thus far. I'm impressed at the strides you're taking. You seem to have discovered more in the last few months than, well, any of the rest of us have in the last year. I must admit, I am a little concerned about the price that is paid in order to get that information. There's been a number of less than ideal outcomes.
Do you mean with Churans?
I mean the Churans, I mean the arrest of one of your party members.
Oh, yes. I don't have anything to say about the arrest that I can possibly say because it wasn't me. I can't apologise for that because it wasn't my thing to apologise for.
Well, I appreciate that none of the problems that we've had have been directly caused by you, as far as I can tell.
I am trying to minimise the political collateral damage.
I appreciate those efforts.
I will bear it in mind going forward. I will continue to try and remain unarrested, and for the party to remain unarrested.
That would be in
no bar
everyone's
fights
interest,
for me.
I think.
No bar fights happening here, and no theft either. No stealing, nothing. Not even any arson, unless it's in a fight, in which case I will be setting fire to things. But that's not arson. That's self-defense.
Quite.
I'm gonna stop talking now.
I think that would be best.
Yes.
Well, I think we should leave it there in that case.
Excellent.
I hope you have a lovely rest of your day.
Great. And then she kind of gives a thumbs up, and then
Finger guns!
she kind of thumbs up, and then kind of goes to finger guns, and then thinks a bit better of it, and then kind of just makes a weird hand gesture, and kind of puts her hands down her sides, kind of nods a bit, and then turns around and walks out.
Hey everyone, it's Ellie here. Hope you're enjoying the show so far. If you are, please consider checking out our supporter Acast link. This is like a virtual tip jar where you can just give us a little bit of a thank you in financial form. We obviously accept thank yous in non-financial forms, and you are in no way obligated to do this. It would just be a nice cool thing. All the proceeds of that go towards things like making a web domain, investing in merch, and also compensating the lovely, lovely PCs that I have on this show, because they're great, and they deserve all the love and all the riches in the world. You can find that at supporter.acast.com/deck of many aces, with spaces in between the words. There's also a link right at the bottom of the episode description. Also, do you have a podcast, TTRPG product, or Twitch stream that you think that the listeners of this podcast might be interested in? If you do, then why not use this space to advertise it? If you're interested in advertising your product here, get in contact with us at deckofmanyaces@gmail.com. Enjoy the rest of the show! Tohsya, come in.
Oh, okay. Yes, I'm gonna inevitably duck through the door frame to step inside to the office.
Have a seat.
I am looking skeptically at the chair. Is it large enough for me?
It'll probably be a little bit of a tight squeeze.
Yeah, I'll sit down but try and keep my weight on my feet.
Okay. So, Tohsya, are you familiar with the premise of a performance review?
Sort of. This is kind of the first job I've had, but I know that my family's soldiers have been through similar. I believe my uncle used to conduct them with household staff.
Okay, fantastic. So you'll know it's quite an informal process. We're just going to have a chat about your experiences with Project Arrowace, and I guess have a moment of self-reflection and a talk about just what's been going on thus far. Does that sound okay?
Sounds good.
Okay, let's start with the basics. How are you feeling about the job currently?
Overall good. I think maybe my team are a little different to what I expected. They're all really nice. Raina's really nice. And I'm curious about what Arrowace's background check system is.
Interesting. Why do you ask?
Morgan's family seems to be I mean, not Morgan herself, obviously. She's very trustworthy, but they seem, there's a little bit of, I believe, a crime family history there, and I mean, I don't want to sound, I suppose, speciesist or anything, but Delphi is a little, well, she's very strange.
Yes, quite.
When we went on our first mission, she thought we had to kill the child and doesn't understand what money is. It's a lot of extra work.
I thought she was being facetious when she said that. She really thought that you had to kill the child?
I'm not going to lie, my social cues aren't that great. I'm not good at picking up on what people mean. But, I mean, it's funny. She's very funny. But, I don't know. I think I'm on a team of weirdos. But they're all nice and very capable, very good at their jobs. Mostly.
Okay. Well, I would say that them being nice is probably a secondary preference to them being capable. Do you feel that you can rely on them out in the field?
Yes, I think so. I think so.
Okay. In spite of any potential misgivings about background?
I would think so. I'm just, I suppose, a little unused to their priorities.
Are you concerned that either Morgan or Delphi will do something against the best interests of the party?
Not on purpose. I perhaps accidentally, when they're sort of, they're both very enthusiastic. And, I think it's very much, I don't know how many scientists you've worked with personally. They seem to get very swept up in understanding the universe. And it's kind of like, come on, let's stay on task.
Yes, unfortunately, I know all too well what you mean. Do you see yourself as the leader of the group?
Yes, I think so.
So would you say that it's your responsibility to keep them on task?
She kind of looks a little puzzled at that, I guess, and kind of scratches the side of her cheek with her trunk. I would suppose so, but that would also mean that they recognize... I don't think they know I'm the leader.
I see. Well, do you think that you have demonstrated to them that you are a leader?
I think so. I think when we've been in really critical moments and no one's really known what to do, I think I've taken the lead, yeah.
Can you give me an example?
You remember the time-traveling castle?
I do, yes.
Everyone was kind of freaking out about what we were supposed to do when, things started going a bit haywire. So I feel like I took the initiative on encouraging everyone to leave as fast as possible, not to try and stay and collect findings from the building. The main focus, I believe, was, to kind of get out.
Of course, yes, and I must applaud you on that. You did a good job of making sure everyone got out safely.
Your cringes.
Is there anything that you think has gone less well in the time you've been working with Arrowace?
Well, I suppose whenever we find ourselves in a confusing situation, we haven't really sort of gotten to grips with our mystery solving, I would say. Which is it's interesting for me because even though I'm obviously the leader, I kind of take a backseat in that scenario because whilst I've got a fairly good head on my shoulders, but that's not particularly my strong suit. You point me in a direction with my hammer and I'll solve the problem, but when we have to investigate leads and talk to people, we have Morgan being very, very eager to ask as many questions as possible, which is obviously great of her to take the initiative, but people are far more likely to tell Raina things because she's just so charming and, she's obviously always too shy to kind of speak up.
I see, yes, I noticed this earlier with Raina when we were talking She seemed reluctant to be fully open, I suppose. It surprises me in a bard.
Yes, me too.
So you say you tend to stay at the back in social situations?
Well, I mean more of when brains are required. I know that Delphi, Morgan, and Eiriol bring very unique and admirable skills to the table, and I'm also aware that I am a very good when we're dealing with aggressive force. So I thought, it might make them feel like a more valued member of the team if I gave them the spotlight in that sort of situation.
Yes. You tend to focus more on combat then?
I think so. I think, it's what I've spent my whole life learning how to do, so I should probably be pretty adept.
Yes, and it was one of the things that stood out to us when we were recruiting you at first. You said you've been training to do this your whole life.
Mm-hmm.
Can you tell me more about the plans for succession in Gaimaris?
Yes, so I don't know how aware you are with the noble structure. Essentially, when my uncle either reaches, he'll one day reach a retiring age or die, and then prior to this, the successor will have been determined. When my little brother is of age, we will have essentially a formal match, because we are in line for the lords of defense and strength. That's what our challenge will be. I know he's quite an adept young mage, so perhaps he will bring magic to the ring. But I am quite strong, and we've spoken about this since he was a young age. Ideally, we will come to an agreement prior who is the strongest. Or this is if we're both, keen to, and we will, enter the ring, do the pomp and circumstance, and then one of us will formally, submit at the start of the match.
And who do you think is likely to be the person who ends up taking the role?
Well, he's only a wee one, so we can't say as of yet, but I can see the toll that this job has taken on my uncle, and read about other lines in our family, and if he is willing, I want to do everything in my power to protect him, and that includes from responsibility and rules and regulations.
Well, your modesty and your admiration of your brother is very touching. But, let me be forthright with you. From my understanding, and I'll admit that it's, not going to be as in-depth as yours, but from my ear to the ground, it seems as though the consensus is that your brother is no match for you, lacking the tactical skill and the experience that you have on the battlefield. My sources tell me that Gaimaris, in spite of tradition, really has one true heir.
Well, I mean, it would be nice if things were easy, and I hope they continue to be, but if I don't know, maybe while we're sort of helping our ways, something could happen to me. I could find another passion and choose to pursue it. I think I don't want to. I'm not an oracle or a divination, a magic user of any kind. I can't really predict the future.
Something happening to you is really what I'm trying to get at, Tohsya. I admire your proficiency on the battlefield, and I admire your willingness to step up and to be the person who takes the hits. But should something bad happen to you, it would not reflect well on us, and it could leave Gaimarus in a less than fortuitous place should something happen to you whilst working for Arrow Ace.
Well, yes, I understand that.
I guess what I'm trying to say in the most tactful way possible is that although you and I may see everyone as equals, there are certain members of your cohort whose contributions to society, let's say, are less pressing than yours. I would maybe consider that when you're in the battlefield. Just be aware that you're less expendable than the others.
She looks very kind of confused at that and furrows her brow very much. She's gonna hold her tongue, but she does not agree with that. Right. So do I get what is there? I don't know. A grade? Are you gonna grade me? Grade me?
No, Tohsya. This is just a conversation, just to check in. Make sure we're on the same page about things.
She looks disappointed at the prospect of no grade.
Aww. Do you have any questions for me, or anything that you'd like to raise before we end this interview?
I think I already know what the answer is going to be, but are you going to tell me what the other said about me?
I'm afraid everything in the meeting is strictly confidential.
Worth a shot. No, I'm good.
Alright.
Cheers.
In that case, it was lovely to talk to you, Tohsya.
You too.
So you are sat outside Bastet's office. You've been there a couple of minutes, and then eventually the door next to you unlocks, and Bastet's head peeks around the door, and she says, Delphi, come on in.
Sure.
Take a seat.
Delphi sits.
So, yeah, Bastet sort of sits on a chair opposite you, behind her desk, and sort of steeples her fingers together and looks over with quite a cool gaze, and she says, "Thank you for joining me. Just before we begin, I've been made aware by some of your party members that not everyone knows what a performance review is. Do you know exactly what we're doing here?"
I mean, by the nature of the words, I'm guessing it's a review of my work for for you, I guess. I don't remember who we worked for again, but you.
Well, Project Arrow Ace is a collaborative project for the Atisorbus government, but also Gaimarus, the Clockwork City, Navrosh, to name a few.
You. Yeah.
Yes.
You.
Good. That's I suppose your first port of call, and that's why I'm responsible for conducting these. It really is just an informal chat, and really it's more of an opportunity for some self-reflection rather than me telling you what you've done good or not.
Let's start off with the basics. How are you feeling about the job at the moment?
I'm unsure. It feels like we've done both a reasonable amount, but not that much at the same time.
Tell me more about that. What do you think you have achieved, and what do you think you haven't achieved?
I mean, we've helped people, I guess. Well, definitely some people, but we've done good things from everything that I can tell. But we've also, they're sorting out minor disparities in stuff. Right, it's strange problems that no one really has an answer to, but we're solving. It's like treating an illness. We're solving the symptoms, but not the root of any of it. We'll take care of any monsters that randomly appear, but we don't stop the monsters from appearing. At least not yet.
I see. Well, do you have any thoughts on how you could improve that? How you could help to stop the monsters appearing in the first place?
No.
All right. Well, I suppose from my perspective, I feel that the information that you've gathered has been incredibly valuable. And, well, I suppose to you it must feel like there's still an awful lot left to discover, but if you come at it from our context, we've been looking at this stuff for the last 12 months, and you four have discovered a lot in the short time you've been working with us. Is there anything that you're particularly proud of as an individual that you've done?
Not that I can think of.
Interesting. Why do you think that is?
I don't think individually I have masses to be proud of. I've done, from what I believe, a perfectly acceptable amount of work, but not masses more or masses less. I'm proud of our abilities as a group, but individually I cannot think of anything that's shines out, I guess.
What about the opposite then? Is there anything that you're personally ashamed of? Less than pleased with?
Something that I've done?
Yes.
Not intensely. There are times where I have not succeeded, but nothing that was catastrophic. Nothing that I fundamentally regret. Things that I can improve on, but that's the nature of everything. We have to improve. But next time I'm fighting a giant shark, I won't dive in the water head first. But that's not.
Morgan did mention that.
Well, it's nothing I'm ashamed of doing. It's just, next time I won't do those things. It's things that you'd kind of have to learn.
What about any actions that may have harmed people?
The only big thing that we've done that's harmed anyone massively was what's his face? The posh man in the fancy bad houses. He got petrified, right?
Oh, yes.
But to be fair, that was kind of his own fault.
So you don't have any remorse for that?
Well, no, I would have preferred to stop it. Like, I prefer if he didn't get petrified, but He did have the basilisk. It wasn't. We didn't bring the basilisk to him. We didn't prevent. We didn't sort of guide him to it. He had a basilisk, and then got petrified. We only didn't prevent that from happening. It probably would have happened anyway.
One of your team members has notified me that the weapon that you carry has caused some kind of harm to someone. They didn't give me any specifics, but...
Yeah, but I had
how
no
are you feeling about...
involvement with that. I mean,
It's your weapon.
It's a weapon, sure. But all of these weapons have done harm, but in that case, in the case I believe they're talking about, I did not cause it.
Yes, but surely with everyone else's weapons, for example, Tohsya's hammer, they are able to wield them correctly.
Sure.
What has happened with your weapon that has meant that something in your care, something that belongs to you, has harmed someone?
It was before it was in my care.
I see.
I'm sure Toz has wielded many weapons that have done more harm than this has. And before Toz's time with them.
Do you understand how your weapon works?
To some extent, yes. But it is magic. I cannot pretend that I completely understand what will happen. In every case, it is...
What makes you think you're fit to wield it?
That I do? So, semi-successfully? Like, as in, I don't... It doesn't do anything massively catastrophic. It does what it does, and, well, I control... I do what I can with it. I wield it as effectively as I can, and in the same extent that anyone can wield a weapon as effectively as they can. No one is perfect with a sword. I am not perfect with this.
And yet you have not found the lock.
What?
What?
Nothing. Can you repeat the question? I don't think I heard it properly.
Delphi, I really must insist that you listen to me. I was just going to ask, you know what I am, don't you?
I believe so. But in the same sense, I cannot pretend that I fully understand.
Speak the name that you think I have. Do you know my name?
I know what we call you. I know that you are called the Delphi, but I do not believe that is your name. As anyone, to give you a name would be to sacrilege, would it not?
A name is for things that have bounds. Time, space, place, personification. I am none of those things.
Exactly.
I am the lock and the act of unlocking, the unending bridge to light, the space between what is and what shall be. Do you know what is being asked of you, young one?
I have my theories, but you haven't given me much to go off.
It is hard for me to inhabit, send signs, and occupy this place when places within me. I find it hard, and so I shall not, for the most part.
Of course.
What do you know to be true of your mission?
I know so little. I know that this came for me, and she holds out the crystal, and I know that I need to do something, that I am moving towards it, and that every time I question it further, I am met with very little answers. But that this is important, and what I do will eventually be important.
Answers are a skeleton key for a lock that does not exist. Answers are fruitless. Questions, however, questions I can help with. Do you understand what you hold?
No. But that is the point, is it not?
Well perceived, young one. Do you understand the function of a key and a crossing?
Yes. From what you have given me, there is something to be unlocked. There is something to be opened. I will open it.
A key is more than just one or two moving parts. There is the key, there is the lock, there is the act of unlocking. Keys unlock locks by shifting the pins within the lock. This is my missive. The pins are shifting. Slowly, inexorably. But they are shifting, and that is a sign that the work is being done. You are moving closer.
I still don't understand what will be opened, or how, or where the next step is.
Do you know when a key is not a key? Could you pick a lock out of a crowd?
With time, yes. That's the point, is that to take that time to find both parts, but it feels like I will be here forever if I take enough time to find that lock.
Trust in the process. The key and the lock are where they need to be. The pins are shifting. The pins are shifting. You must be ready when they are in place, because the key is more than just a key. The key will fix our world. You want to fix our world, don't you?
Yes.
Delphi, are you listening to anything I'm saying?
I'm trying.
Right. Well, I think I've expressed clearly enough the concerns that I have. Just keep an eye on this weapon of yours and make sure there's no other funny business, and we'll be all right. But I really cannot have other people finding out of potential ill effects, okay?
Of course.
Is there anything else you'd like to discuss with me?
No, not that I'm aware of.
Okay. We'll leave this here then. Good chat.
Sure.
Deck of Many Aces is Am Chisholm, Chloe Elliott, Eiriol Evans, Katie McLeod, and me, Ellie Webster. If you love the show, please consider leaving us a review or a rating on whatever podcast listening platform you are using right now. If you aren't using one that has a reviewing system, then you can check us out on Podchaser, where we can read and respond to your reviews. We really, really appreciate it, and it helps the podcast grow. So thank you so much for people who have left a review. And if you're thinking about it, please do it. We'd love you for it. If you want to interact with us, you can find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Deck of Many Aces. Let's be honest, it's mostly Twitter, like Twitter basically. Just go on Twitter. We're always happy to chat, and we always love hearing from people, so give us a bell. If you love the music from the show, you can find it on Spotify, Deezer, Amazon Music? I'm saying with a question mark, and also on Chloe's SoundCloud. The links are in the episode description. We are a busy group of people, so you can find us all over the internet. Most notably, Am is in our sister podcast, A Rendezvous with Destiny, and actually now so is Chloe. That's exciting. What? So they're both in A Rendezvous with Destiny. You can also find Am on Date Night Drive-In with fellow podcaster Will, and you can also find her on Brain Adventures in their new series, The Defectives Club. You can find Chloe again all over the internet, but most notably on Twitch at Chloe_with_the_flow. I've already mentioned it earlier on in the show, but if you really love us and you'd like to do something to directly support the show, then we've got an Acast supporter link, which we'd really appreciate you checking out. It's like an online tip jar, and we use the money to help kind of advance the project however we can. Most recently, it allowed us to take part in Rainbow Roll Fest, which was an amazing time, and the festival raised over £1,700 for mermaids, which was also amazing. So all good things. That's at supporter.acast.com/Deck of Many Aces with dashes between the words. That's all from me this week. I will see you soon. Have an ace week. Bye!